Good afternoon. How are you today? Well, I'm back on my road and I feel really great. I'm so glad to be here. Nothing against Baltimore, but there's a big difference between walking a country road and trying to make your way in a city. And to give you an example, when I lived on the east side of New York, not far from Gracie Mansion, in an apartment I sold to Rudy Giuliani, by the way, had a good profit for me, but a good insider price for him. The I would go out and I'd run along the East River Drive. There was a place you could run between the highway and the river, and I wondered sometimes if I got worse by the air out of the exercise that I was doing. Baltimore was different. You know, you'd look at the grass by the side of where you were running, and it'd be intermingled with, well, dirt and cans and pieces of paper and so forth. That's not natural. That's humans doing that where they live, fouling their own nest. And I'm not some old fart talking about, oh, it was better in my day. I came from the South Bronx and I saw this there. But I do think how you live in your environment says a lot about you, and it says a lot about preserving and protecting it and protecting who you are and what you are. So turning away from these general nostrums to what's going on the Hill, I don't have much to say about the Democrats and Republicans getting together to work out our, rebuilding America, our infrastructure bill. Because even when we get Republicans in the room, it seems to me they're covering their hindquarters by wanting to be able to say, therefore, a $1 trillion package that would make some difference, but they don't want to pay for it with the taxes of the very wealthy who aren't contributing very much at all to the commonwealth, that is, to our highways and bridges and the care of people. And we all say we're all in this together, but then we don't do anything about it. So I would be very surprised at the end of the day if we find a way, other than taxing gas and diesel fuels in a regressive manner against most of us, instead of saying those who earn above 400,000 and those businesses that aren't paying taxes will pay some taxes. So I watched that. The big stories today, I think, are in the Supreme Court. There are two. One is about Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. And that's especially on our mind in a nation that's coming through a pandemic. There are 20 million people that are affected immediately, and there's 130 million with probably pre-existing conditions that the act protects you against. When they had the argument before the Supreme Court, it was being brought by he whose name we would prefer to forget, Tyrant Trump, and AGs from red states that obviously don't give a damn about their constituents' health. The Supreme Court, when it had the oral argument, was considering the question whether taking out the penalties from the Affordable Care Act meant that the act was inoperable, and whether or not you could segregate that provision from the integrity of the rest of the act. But that's not what the Supreme Court decided. The Supreme Court decided that the people who came before the court had no business being there. And so it was denied on a 7-2 vote, and the two votes dissenting from upholding the Affordable Care Act were Alito and Gorsuch. So only one of Trump's appointees were in that position. Amy Barrett, who was appointed just before the court had the oral argument, she sided with the majority, the 7-2 vote to uphold it. And Kavanaugh, who was another Trump appointee, he also sided with the majority. Is that the end of it? I hope so. And I hope that Biden gets a chance to expand upon it, because, it's not enough. And I'm particularly noting this. We all note this every time we have to go get a prescription filled or do something, that when it's covered, it's great. If the copay is small, that's good. But there are many people that have to give up food and things like that to get some basic medical treatment that they can't otherwise get. The second decision is annoying in different ways. It is in Philadelphia a foster care group who considers themselves Christian had a contract with the city. But what they wouldn't do is that they wouldn't allow same-sex couples to adopt these foster care children. Now, the lower court, that is the Third Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals, said, no, you can't do that because that's wrong. It's discrimination. And the answer from the foster care group was, no, this is our religious beliefs. And because of our religious beliefs, we can't do that. And I'd like to find where in the Bible it says that. Certainly it doesn't say that in the Sermon on the Mount. But that's their position. So they go to the Supreme Court. Now here's the shocker. 9-0 on the side of the foster care agency. That infuriates me. Because tax dollars are going to this organization and they're being told that they may discriminate against same-sex couples. Now, other couples in our history have had trouble adopting. We've had mixed couples, black and white. We've had couples that were black, wanted to adopt a white child. No. You know, there have been all these discriminatory reasons. And it's almost like these old fuddy-duddies should get with the time. Where are they? We've had the Loving case, right? So maybe we've taken care of that. But are we still going to have this problem with same-sex couples? They can't adopt. I have known same-sex couples who've raised children. And, you know, not that it should matter. One of the things is, we're going to teach these children. That's not how it works. You are who you are. And it's manifest by how you live your life. And in one same-sex couple, the young man is very much heterosexual, but he was a great benefit and he loves his parents and they love him. And I have seen them often enough, active in the community and in the church, by the way, and they have a marvelous relationship. So I hate the haters, and I think that's acceptable, because if you're hating haters, you're loving people who love. You're loving people who embrace each other, who help each other through life, who take care of them. These people, from going forward, you want to know who we should embargo? Every church that expresses themselves in this hateful way. There's one in my area called Cornerstone. They speak against people, same sex. You know, you're a baby killer if you want to give women a right to choice. These people have no business in a cooperative, affectionate community. None. And they can have their own personal beliefs, but they shouldn't be imposing them with tax dollars on others. So shame on the Supreme Court. 9-0. You know, the president signed into bill today making Juneteenth a holiday. I support that, of course. But how do we celebrate tolerance when the Supreme Court, 9-0, not just Trump's people appointed by Democrats who say, that's okay. It is not okay. So, anyhow, maybe being back in the country has been invigorating to me. So I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.